All right. Welcome to the Rise Up podcast. I am your host, Jonah Mitchell. And on this show, I help simplify weight loss for chronic dieters so they can rise up to their potential, make this process a lot less difficult on them so that they ultimately live a happy, healthy life without constantly thinking about the food that they have to eat. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me, to listen in on this episode where I'm not entirely sure what the title of it is, because I tend to do these kind of on the fly when I get the idea of what I want to talk about, but something along the lines of the 3 reasons that most people don't see results, don't see the progress that they would like to. This came off of a conversation I had with one of my clients who's been in a plateau for a while, and she was asking me a lot of questions about what's going on. So I thought I might as well make a podcast about it and hopefully clear up some misconceptions for you. And if you find it helpful, well, then I did my job. I hope you, if you're watching this on YouTube, hello. I'm starting to upload these on YouTube now at Jonah Mitchell Fitness. If you want to follow me on my other social media at Jonah Mitchell Fit _ nutrition on Instagram, Jonah Mitchell Fitness on TikTok. If you want to really see all my trainings, all my free stuff, that is in my Facebook group at the Total Mind Body Transformation. That's where I'm the most active. And come join a community of my current clients and a bunch of other people who love taking action, who want to see this process, who want to actually create a long-lasting transformation and connect their mind to their body. And that's really what I want to help you do, is to really connect with yourself even better than you ever have before. So this process becomes a lot simpler than you think it is. And the only reason that weight loss and well, I'm sorry, I can't say the only reason, but one of the biggest factors that I found for myself and for people, and why I continue to do this, is that a lot of the reason that we struggle is a lot of it's in our head. And I mean, hence why we can get into it with this episode. Sorry if I sound a little drowsy. You probably haven't even noticed, but me and Hannah were at a Halloween party, and I shaved my beard for my costume. We were Bob and Linda from Bob's Burgers, sexy Bob and Linda from Bob's Burgers, and it was good. It was a lot of fun, like a very good time. Um, a lot of people thought I was naked underneath my apron. um I was around family, so there's like no no way in hell that would ever go through. And it was just funny. It was a good time. That those pictures are on Instagram if you want to go take a look, because I think we did a pretty good job. Hannah pulled off Linda really well. Yeah, so I'm a little tired. We got a little bit slow start to the day, but I got my green tea, got my notes. Ooh, I didn't finish it yet. Cool. And yeah, let's get this started. So let's talk about what progress is really quick before I get into the 3 reasons that most people aren't seeing the results that they want. Results. We love results that we can quantify. Results that we can see are are usually the default sign of success on a weight loss journey. And a lot of times when we're not losing weight, we feel like we're doing something wrong. Or if we're not seeing any changes, again, we're feeling like we're seeing something. We feel like we're doing something wrong. Jeez. And this makes it very easy for us to get into our heads, to try and change things up and move away from something that may be working, but just not to the level, well, not as quickly as you were expecting. And that kind of goes into my first reason why we don't see the results, why you're not seeing results, is you have unrealistic expectations. And I feel like I talk about this a lot, but I just want to remind you that the weight didn't come on overnight. It came on through days, months, years of decisions that you made over time, right? And it's not just because you're focused for 30 to 90 days doesn't mean it's all going to come off immediately. You are a lot of the time. I mean, for example, I have 3 clients who struggled with dieting their entire lives, right? They're in their mid 50s. And when I told them that this journey was going to take upwards of 6 months plus, they were like, oh my God, that takes so long. But in reality, does it take that long? If this is something that you've been struggling with for 40, 50 years, is 1 year really that long? So your unrealistic expectations of wanting to see weight loss quickly, and you don't see that, and when you don't see that, you immediately spiral down and try and overcorrect, or try and change everything that may have been working, just not to the speed that you like it to. Now you're delaying the results even more. You're ruining your relationship with yourself, saying like, oh, I can't stay consistent. I'm not good enough at this. I'm not meant to have these results, or whatever comes up in your head. All of this is just because your idea of how this should go is slightly skewed. Your want for quick results is pushing you, is making the results come a lot slower, or it's actually lengthening the time away from you to get to your goal, when you realize that, oh, maybe I am kind of being a bit of an asshole to myself, and holding too high of a standard, that, or a high expectation that I cannot fit right now. I may need time to really learn to understand this process. Which, well, I mean, in our challenge right now, we're working on establishing day-to-day tasks that have really big dividends that pay you back for your health and fitness. But it's 21 days long. 21 days is a relatively short amount of time. A lot can change in 21 days, but you're not you're not going to see the drastic results that you're expecting. It's the challenge is aimed to help build that momentum and help you understand what to look for, so that you always find ways to be making progress. And it's not just weight loss that is progress. Consistency, tracking consistency. I love having like a physical calendar where you have like one or two very basic, very simple goals, and then once you accomplish it, you check that off your calendar, right? And then you look back over 90 days and like, oh, I'm not seeing any results. But then you look at your calendar, you have 90 days that you have executed on a simple plan, which is amazing, right? That is the type of work that is really going to help lead to the long lasting result, not just how fast can you lose weight in a short amount of time, right? If we get quick results, they often don't last, because you're not actually you're I heard this the other day. I can't remember who. So but if you lose weight quickly, you've proven to yourself that you're motivated. You can be motivated, which is great. But if you lose weight slowly, you're proving that you could be disciplined, and not disciplined in a way that makes you sacrifice everything that you love, but disciplined in a way that you can more often than not make the decision that truly aligns with you and your desires. And I guess going back to the unrealistic expectations and standards, what you say you want and what you do are when those two things are very misaligned, it's still an unrealistic expectation for you. Maybe your goal isn't as important to you as you want, or it isn't as meaningful as you thought it was. If just losing weight doesn't get you out of bed, maybe there has to be something else. I was talking to a woman the other day who wants to start a family. Number on the scale doesn't matter to her. Having being healthy, going to have a healthy pregnancy, to be around for her kids for a very long time, that's inspirational, right? So we don't need to be motivated. We need to work on understanding how to align with what we truly value, right? Sometimes it's saying yes to the convenience or the fun foods, right? But if you say yes most of the time to those things, is your health goals truly a factor, or truly important to you in this moment? Or do we need to work on understanding what it is you actually desire, so that we can appropriately adjust your focus, adjust your focus, so that you can start aligning with what you value, so this process becomes more simple to you, right? So I hope that made sense, right? Because we have unrealistic expectations based off of people around us, based off what we think we know, and we don't see the results that we want. This is what really makes this is the biggest thing that forces us to put a stick in our own tire of our bike, and we flip over the handlebars every single time. Or what you say and what you do are completely misaligned. So and you have this unrealistic goal in your head, and you're not executing to the level that you could be, and it's just about readjusting, rewiring, right? So when I don't want to just like address this and be like, oh, this is the problem. Like, I want to give you the solution to this as well. And the solution is, hey, give yourself a break and realize what has worked and what hasn't worked, right? And what has worked, doesn't just mean you lost weight on it. What Go back to like the time when you felt like you were your happiest, your healthiest. What were you doing? What, like, the details of that? And if we can try to not like exactly recreate that situation, but emulate the feelings, the day to day that you were doing, that's how we start to understand, okay, I'm not just chasing weight loss, I'm chasing feeling better. Feel better first, right? And then the results will start to come. And the things that I work on with my clients is just like, hey, like, what simple things can we accomplish right now? We look at where they're at right now. Look at where you're at right now. Don't just try and change everything. Just acknowledge the fact that you're in this current situation and what it looks like. And then pick one or two things based off of where you're at that you can consistently and confidently apply. If it's getting more activity in, if it's adding vegetables or fruit or protein into your diet, if it's being more proactive with your stress on a day-to-day process, right? If you can just take where you're at right now and pick one or two things to slightly improve on, you will make so much progress. I promise you make so much progress. All right. So then I've covered most of that. Let's move on to the next one. So the second reason why most people don't see the results that they want. And this is probably my favorite saying. It's that because they're doing shit that they hate doing. And if I think I've talked about it, but I broke my foot almost 2 months ago now, and I did it by running. I hate running. I hate it so much. But I forgot my damn toothbrush when I was out of town, and I thought running a mile and a half would be way faster than walking the mile and a half there. Turns out it ended up being a very long. It's taken a lot longer time because I chose the faster way, even though I hate running. So I should have, in hindsight, just walked there or waited till my friends got back to give me a ride to go get a new toothbrush. Anyway, I guess no, that's still tied in. Having that idea of doing something that you hate doing because it's going to get you to where you want to go faster is a lot of times making it longer to get there, right? 80% of getting to your results is just being consistent, just taking consistent action, no matter what it looks like. And you're way more likely to keep taking action, to keep moving forward if you're doing something that you enjoy doing. Whereas if you do things that you hate doing because you think that's how you have to see the results, because it's what worked in the past and it just doesn't serve you now, or it didn't serve you back then, it was just like how you learned about it. Like a common thing is like athletes, and not necessarily, this used to be an athlete podcast, but when they were in the best shape of life, they were competitive athletes and they had a very strict lifestyle, and going back to that lifestyle is very difficult 10, 20, 30 years down the line, right? And a lot of times, or not even if you were just athlete, but when you were a kid and you were very, very active, there's probably things that kept you in shape, but you didn't like them. So if you don't like something, you're not, bottom line is, you're not going to be consistent with something that you hate. You're not. Like, you can be motivated, you could force yourself to do it, but if you genuinely hate it, if it genuinely like takes away from your energy and makes you feel like shit, again, you're only setting yourself up to extend the length of time that's going to take to get to where you want to go. Because even if you do things that you hate doing to get to where you want to go, and you can't upkeep that consistency with that thing, which you're probably not going to be able to because it doesn't genuinely serve you and give back to you, makes you feel better, you're going to lose those results. Hence why, like, I'm not the biggest well, probably the biggest anti-keto person. Not to say that it doesn't have its time and place, but people don't plan on not living without carbs. They don't plan on completely cutting out carbs forever. And then when they reintroduce their carbs after they hate being on keto for so long, then it's like, oh, well, I'm back to where I was because I didn't actually change the root cause. I didn't actually do something that was adding to my life. It was constantly depriving me. So move away from doing things because you think you have to, right? This goes back to understanding the your expectations and your if they're realistic or not. Where if you think you have to do something and it just causes more anxiety, more stress in your day to day, is that something that is going to work for you long term? Probably not. There's so many other ways to find progress, still find progress, and in ways that you enjoy, that are way more, they're going to keep you way more consistent. They're going to have you showing up, wanting to show up for yourself, and that's going to help you keep the results that you want. All right. So this is super critical here. I want you to understand this a lot. Stop doing shit you hate and understand how to feel better. I start identifying areas, activities, right? Let's just break it down. Stop doing exercise routines that you don't like. Focus on what you like doing. If it's just walking, just fucking walk. Okay. Just walk and just be consistent with walking. Or, mine, I love strength training. Strength training is my bread and butter. Oh my God, I cannot, like, that will always be a part of my day to day. I will always prioritize that. And I also love walking my dog. It gives me time to get outside, and when when I don't have a broken foot, I'm hanging out with Hannah too. And we're just like talking to each other. And I enjoy that. Right. I enjoy those aspects of my activity. So I always am excited. I'm not always excited, but it's always a part of my routine, and it never feels like it's completely depriving. Even on the days where I don't want to go, I know the benefits of how they make me feel. Right. That's the difference between showing up to do something you hate doing, and it just makes your day even worse because of it, where showing up to do the thing that I love doing, even on the days I don't want to do it, it makes me feel better anyway. Right. Like after I'm done, I'm going to go work out. And I really don't want to because I'm a little tired from that stupid Halloween party last night. But I'm going to go do it, get a little bit more energy in my day, and I'm going to feel better because of it. Right. And that's what I want you to focus on. That's what I coach my clients through. It's like, let's focus on what you like doing so you can keep showing up for that. Okay. And when you stop doing the things you hate doing, and you start showing up the way that showing up because you like the things that you're doing now, 80% you've gone 80% of the way. The last 20% is just working on optimizing all the numbers and applying numbers to how they work for you, and not just like, here's a macro prescription, run down the line. And I guess I could do a whole podcast episode. I could probably do a whole TED talk like on one specific topic. Yeah, I like talking about multiple things at once. But that's why you're here, right? That's why you listen to me rant and ramble. So I hope you find it valuable. And then let's talk about number 3. Number 3 is usually after we understand our boundaries, right? We understand what we value in our journey. We've implemented amazing strategies to help us feel better. Now this comes down to understanding the numbers, right? Where we're estimating maintenance numbers, and we're talking about calorie numbers. The third reason most people don't see progress is general and very common inaccuracies. I don't usually start with this because most of the time we're very inaccurate. We constantly underestimate we underestimate how much we're eating, and we overestimate how much we're active. That's just a general thing, or a general and common practice amongst people on their journeys. And it's just because we don't actually understand. We hear track your calories and buy the Fitbits and all these things and track all these numbers, but we don't actually know what the numbers mean all that much. We just know, well, eat in a calorie deficit, eat less than you burn, and you lose weight. So then we have little regard for understanding how to support our body and what actually makes us feel good. Or we're not very accurate. We don't account for the randomness as well as we could. And it just starts to add up over time. And a lot of time, when I have people tracking calories for an extended period of time and we're in a plateau and we're not seeing results, usually the first thing I go is like, how accurate has tracking been? And usually if it's like, oh, I eat out four times a week, and like, I don't really cook a couple of my meals, my husband cooks them or my family cooks them, and I just kind of track where I can, well, then awesome. We know the problem. We know the problem is that we may be eating a little bit more than we think we are. Because if you think you're eating a deficit and you're not losing weight, by definition, you are not in a deficit. And it's not the fact that it's not always because you're super stressed and you need a reverse diet. That there's a time and place for increasing your calories after a long time of deprivation of calories, eating a super low calorie diet. Then it's time to increase your calories back up. But most of the time, it's you're just eating more than you think you are, and you're not as accurate as you think you are. And that's okay. That's okay, because once we understand all right, I could probably be a little bit more accurate. I'm probably not paying attention to as many liquid calories. This includes like cooking oils, right? Cooking oils are very easy to sneak in an extra couple hundred calories in there that we're not accounted for. And we're having these complex meals that have 10,000 ingredients and it's super fancy on Instagram, but it's super difficult to track. It's like, oh, there's a lot of room for error going into those things. That's why I'm very big on simplifying your meals in a way that doesn't always feel so repetitive. If you have half your plate some sort of vegetable, a quarter of the plate some sort of complex carb, and another quarter some sort of protein, all you do is like mix and match vegetables, mix and match fruits and protein and carbohydrates, and you get hundreds of meals in there. If you're thinking about all the different types of protein, there's beef, there's pork, there's chicken, there's fish, and then all the subcategories of fish that go into there, and all the subcategories of types of beef, where it goes to bison, ground bison, steak bison, with ground beef, steak, burgers. There's so many categories that you can make different meals, and when you keep it simple like that, it becomes very easy to understand actually how many calories you're eating, right? But if we have all these complicated meals going into play, if we have a lot of meals that we're eating out with, you'll never be accurate with eating out. No matter how hard you try, you can get as close as you can, but it's always going to be a best guess. And if that's like the norm, it's okay. It's like, okay, maybe we should just slow down and simplify our meals for a little bit. Let's slow down and adjust. And like, okay, before we increase your activity, before we adjust everything all at once, let's look at your accuracy. And if there could be a little bit more wiggle room for more accurate, it's like, awesome. Well, maybe let's just simplify a couple meals and we'll see how you adjust. And boom, like that, it's like the weight loss and the fat loss can start happening. It's just about understanding, like, okay, if I'm not losing weight, there's a reason for it. Right. It's not always because you have super slow metabolism. And, if you have a slow metabolism, quote unquote, it's probably because you've been super stressed out and haven't taken care of very basic functions of your day to day. And it's time to actually, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be focusing on weight loss right now. Maybe I should focus on, reducing my stress, getting outside a little bit more in the sunlight, drinking a little bit more water, and all these things, they'll add up really quickly, way quicker than you expect. But yeah, so I mean, that's the biggest thing is, if we're not seeing results, it's usually comes down to something going on in our head. We're doing things that we don't like, and we're just a little bit inaccurate. There's a reason for everything, right? And ultimately, these are the biggest, most common ones. And if you have been consistent and still not seeing results, if you're doing these places, if you're doing everything right, legitimately everything, and I'm gonna ask you to be honest with yourself. If you are doing everything right and not seeing results, truly question if you are doing everything right, or if you are just assuming you're doing right, and there could be just a couple things that we just need adjusted. Most of my clients that I work with, I'm never sitting here telling them to altercate any of the vast majority of their life, right? That's not how I've done that for myself. It's not fun, it's not easy, it's not sustainable. I hated it so much. Most of the time I'm telling people to just a couple things, help them realize just a couple things that they weren't aware of before, and then they're like, holy shit, that was it, that was the only thing I was missing. It's like, yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think that was a good one. I don't know how long this one was. I think it's relatively short, but I think it's a good one. Good enough to wrap it up here. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. If you did, and you watch this on YouTube, leave a comment. If you are not able to leave a comment, leave a review if that's possible, or let me know what you think. Come ask me questions. I'm an open book. If you ever want to just book just a call, a chat with me, that is the best, so I can best help you, point you in the right direction. Just reach out to me on any of my social media. I'd be happy to help you the best way I can. My entire goal is to help point you in the right direction. If that is with just one conversation, that's my favorite thing I can do. If it is with coaching, I'll do my best to help you. And if you're a good fit, we'll talk about coaching. But the thing I want for you is to feel capable again, to take control of your health, and to feel confident in yourself, that you know yourself better than you ever have before. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you did find this helpful and you made it to the end, I would greatly appreciate if you shared it with just one person. I think I forgot to mention at the beginning. It helps me out a lot, and the more people I get to help, the more I love my job. So, I mean, not to say that I wouldn't love my job even if I wasn't helping people, but still. All right, I'm done rambling. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.